Award-winning.
Hello.
Again, hello there. 8th time, Manager of the Month. Always nice though.
Well, that means that we won a lot of games in a really important and crucial part of the season, so a good team effort.
Does that just add a little bit of extra inspiration given everything that you're involved in and still in the big competitions?
I think that's a reflection of what the team is doing and the level of performances and the amount of games that we are winning. As I said, I think it's just a reflection of that.
I'm not going to go through the list of medical updates, injury updates, otherwise we'll be here tomorrow and you've got to travel to Southampton. But I was quite interested, starting with the England boys, what Thomas Tuchel had to say about agreeing that it's a friendly, they were feeling discomfort, it was right for them to go back to their club and be assessed. That's the kind of conversation you have, I guess, with all the national teams.
Yes, and we have very good relationship and communication with most of the national teams, certainly with Thomas. We've been extremely supportive all the time, and when you have to communicate the state and the moment of every player, we are always very honest, and at the end there is a medical decision that has to be made, and that was clear what the conclusion was.
And with all the teams, the Brazilians, the Spanish, the French, it benefits their World Cup hopes to rest players that need a rest as much as it benefits Arsenal, I guess.
No, I think when a player is fit and available to play, he has to play, and I think it makes us so proud that we have that many players in the national team, and the players are desperate to play with the national team, and we know how important every time that they are together and the time that they spend in preparation means to them. So we are fully supportive of that, and when we can do it, we do it.
So of the players who haven't been involved or have been partially involved in their national teams, are any of those who may not be available to you over the next couple of games?
You will see. I continue the speculation, so you can do it and you can judge it afterwards. Did what I say was right, or I have to maybe change and delete and write something else?
But it's difficult anyway, because you would, I'm sure, rest some of those players ahead of a big Champions League night a couple of days after.
We are in a position right now that we're going to make the strongest lineups and decisions that we possibly can to win every competition. We are 2 or 3 games away in the FA Cup, and we know how important that competition is for us.
With Noni, there was a lot made of the fact that he had a brace when he left after that first game. Is it as bad as it looked?
No, it's not, and it looked really, really bad, and Noni was really worried, especially after what happened in his other knee a few weeks ago, and he was out for 6 weeks. But no, he's nowhere near that injury, so that was really good news.
I think Thomas said days. Is that right?
I think so.
Ebbs probably though is going to be out for a little while.
Ebbs is out, yeah.
How long?
There's no say. With Ebbs, I cannot put a finger there because I don't know, because he's a special character in that.
Good news on the injury front before we move on, and that's obviously they weren't quite ready to take part in the Carabao Cup final, but Martin and Urian are probably available again.
Those are in contention to possibly be in the squad.
In terms of the goalkeeper for a domestic cup game, can we assume that the keeper who starts tomorrow will be Spanish and has a name that ends in A?
I think tomorrow goalkeeper is going to be, is he European? He's under 32, right-footed, and speaks at least 2 languages.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The game, sorry. It's an important game, isn't it? A quarter-final of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
You've outdone me there, Mikhail.
Okay. You've done me many times, so we are 10-1, don't worry.
Another Wembley appearance at stake.
Yeah.
How important is it? Just probably the third of the most competitions you're involved in terms of importance, but still nice to get to Wembley.
Yeah, huge competition, so related to the history of our football club, and we're going to play a team that is in a really good moment. They won so many games recently. It's in a really good moment. You know the expectations, the crowd, the environment that they're going to create. So we are ready for that, and we want to win Wembley again. So tomorrow we have the opportunity to do that again.
I mean, they're on a really good run, aren't they?
Yeah.
Of late. And important to them as well, it's the 50th anniversary of them as a second division side, it was called then, beating a giant Manchester United in the cup final. So there's a lot to contend with there for your players, isn't there?
But that's the magic of the FA Cup, that that every scenario, every context, every game has a history, and this one it's a special one, and we are ready to face that tomorrow.
And unusually, they'll be in yellow at home because of that anniversary, and you'll be in red away.
Yes, which is special again. So good.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to work out who the keeper is now.
Okay.
Hi, Mikel. Just on Southampton, in recent years, I was wondering, do you kind of look back at previous games against them, because it's not always been a straightforward game at St Mary's for Arsenal. I mean, FA Cup a few years ago, after you'd won it, I think you lost there, but other draws as well at that stadium. Do you look back at those games and kind of try to see what went wrong, what can go right this time?
Well, yes, there are certain things that are going to be similar, but obviously with the new manager, with the players, and the amount of changes that they had in the squad, it is very different. And at the end, you have to talk about the moment, what they are doing in this moment, and what we are doing. And we as well are obviously a very different team.
And in terms of just this last block of games for this season, in recent years, I think probably the best end to a season Arsenal have had was in 2024, when you won 16 out of your last 18 games. I was wondering, was there anything you learned from that season in particular in terms of how you and your team and staff even approached that kind of back into the season?
Yes, we look back at those things and the things that we did, the things that we can work. But again, it's a different group. We are in a different position as well in certain competitions comparing to that year, because there we're just talking about a certain competition. But yeah, we will try to do what we believe is the right thing, what the team needs to give us ourselves the best chance to win every game.
Matt from the Standard.
Hi, Mikel. Can I just check on Piero quickly? He's obviously came off as well. Was that a serious problem?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's out.
Do you have any idea how long yet?
No.
And on Ben White, it was obviously a big deal for him to be back in the England squad.
Yeah.
Very exciting for him. Firstly, how excited were you for that? But how disappointed too were you to see the boos in both the matches?
The volume was down, so I could not hear that. I could just see that big smile on his face and the way he came back from the national team, and the good thing that he was telling about everybody, about the group, about the meetings that they had, about Thomas and everybody. So that's great to hear, because when you send a player to a national team, you really want to bring back a better player, a player that is happy, a player that is available and fit, and that was certainly Ben's case.
And on the other end of the spectrum, obviously a tough international break for Calafiori in
Yeah.
terms of not qualifying. What conversations have you had with him, and how do you sort of lift him after that disappointment?
Try to lift him. I think not only for Ricky, I think for Italy, I think for football. You know, a country like them with such a passion, such a history, not to win a World Cup is tough, and I don't think it's good for football. But that shows you as well the difficulty of going through all those phases to earn the right to be in the competition.
Tom.
Hi, Mikel. The other big story of the break was Victor Gyökeres's contributions for Sweden, 4 goals in 2 games and taking them to the World Cup. I remember we talked earlier in the season about when Mikel Merino scored a hat-trick and you wanted to kind of use that momentum. I imagine you want to do similar with Victor.
Yes, and especially the importance of those goals. I mean, I can imagine how much it means for him to get his country over the line in the position that they were in. To be able now to play the World Cup. So yeah, he was buzzing, he was full of energy and confidence, and that's great.
Have you noticed, just in the short time you've had your players back, the players that are now going to be going to those World Cups, have you noticed a difference in their demeanour and excitement about the end of the season?
Very difficult to say. Obviously, the first day when they are coming back, they are still carrying that energy, but they all come back really happy to this place, and that's something really positive to witness, and that's the important thing. Now I have to focus on the club, and after we play the last game, they can have plenty of time to prepare the World Cup.